Hey guys, thanks for coming back to my channel. So today I am doing a classic kind of look, sort of like a 50s look, just classic eyeliner, classic red lip. So yeah, I was making a quick trip into the city today and just figured why not film and do just something a little different. So I got my coffee and my little friend that came to visit. So perfect way to do glam, right? So I'm going to be taking my Time Wise Age Fighting Moisturizer from Mary Kay. This is like my go-to moisturizer. I use it pretty much in all my videos. Um, it's just like the perfect kind of moisturizer just to put underneath my makeup and just serve as like a primer, whether I'm using actual primer or not. After a few seconds of just letting that dry, I'm going to go in with the Mary Kay Foundation Primer. This has an SPF of 15, so it's good to put underneath your foundation. And you really just need a dime size amount, not even a dime size, that is like less than a penny. It is just really, really small. You just need a dot of this. It goes such a long way. That's what I really love about these Mary Kay products. You really don't need a lot. I mean, that little tube will last me probably like 6 months, maybe more. So I'm just gonna put that along my forehead, my chin, and I put that around my nose, on the side, and on the bridge, just in like my dry areas. And then I'm going to take this CoverGirl concealer. This is the Ready Set Gorgeous concealer. And I'm just going to put that on just some parts of my skin where there's a little bit just imperfection areas, just some acne spots and some dark spots. And then I'm just going to buff it out with a Real Techniques beauty sponge. And so that's just going to be covered just underneath my foundation before I lay that on. So after I make sure that that's all blended out, because I don't want that to show underneath my foundation, after it's all smooth and everything, I'm going to go in with the CoverGirl Ready Set Gorgeous in number 210. This shade is a little bit off. I really prefer the Infallible right now, but this is just a really good alternative. It's a little lighter in coverage. I find that the Infallible works a little better, but it still really gets the job done, and it blends out really beautifully, and it just looks pretty natural. So I just decided to use that for this look. So I'm just speeding up this part just because you guys have seen this before. Nothing special, just buffing this out, just going in circular motions and patting motions, just all along the face, down the neck, you know the deal. And then I'm just going to take the Real Technique sponge and just blend it out a little bit further. Just make sure everything looks seamless and there's no excess anywhere. So after that, I'm just going to move on to my brows. I'm taking the number 7 brush from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I'm just taking the spoolie part and just brushing out my brows. Not that there's much to brush, but I try. So I'm just going to be taking the other end, and I'm going to be using the Dip Brow pomade in medium brown, and I'm just depositing that. I usually deposit it in the very middle of my eyebrow, just so that I don't put a whole ton in the beginning of my eyebrow. So I'm just taking that, and I usually just use about that much for my whole brow. I rarely dip back in. I usually don't need much than what I already put on my brow. By the way, I'm talking pretty much throughout this whole video because my best friend Vivian came over and was just there in my room with me as I was filming. So anyways, I'm now taking the Brow Wiz from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is in medium brown also, and I'm just using that just to fill in the sparse areas of my eyebrows, which is pretty much everywhere, but whatever. Then I'm taking her tinted brow gel in chocolate and just coating the brows with this just all over, just making my hairs a little bit more prominent. And then I'm taking the same concealer that I used before and putting that on my brow bone just to make my eyebrows pop a little bit more and just to sharpen them up, usually to cover any kind of sparse hairs that are sticking out. Just a side note, I think I'll be doing a full brow routine pretty soon, so if you're interested, let me know. Then for the eyes, I'm taking the shade Noble from the Mi Vida Loca palette from Kat Von D, and I'm just popping that pretty much into my crease or right above it, just using this sort of as a transition color. I really love this color. I used this in my last video, the no makeup look, and I used it just because I think it's just a really beautiful natural color. It goes really well with my skin tone. It gives it just a little bit of color, but nothing too drastic. So if you're looking for like a no makeup look, or if you're wanting to do this look, I would suggest just shopping around looking for something that's as close to your skin tone as possible, and then just going one shade up. So just trying something that's very, very similar, but that you can see just a little bit of color. And by the way, I'm going in with an E30 Morphe brush. I just bought this brush recently and I'm really loving it. It's really big. It just deposits the color really well. It's really soft. I mean, it's just as good as any other Morphe brush. Then I'm going in with the shade Frappe from Makeup Geek, and I'm applying this with a Morphe G16. This is a sort of like a slanted eyeshadow brush, and I don't know, I'm still trying to learn how to work with it. It's really nice, it's really soft. There's nothing necessarily negative about it, but I'm just still trying to figure out how to use it. I sort of did like sort of a V shape, and it's, I don't know, it's kind of nice to buff out in the crease, but I'm not exactly sure if that's how it's meant to be used, but whatever. And then I'm just going in with a fluffy brush just to blend everything out. Just make sure there's no harsh lines, especially on the very top right beneath my brow bone. Then for the lid, I'm going in with Vanilla Bean and Shimma Shimma. I'm combining those just because Vanilla Bean is a little bit of a matte color and Shimma Shimma is obviously a shimmery color. I don't want anything too glittery looking, too shimmery, but I just want something that has a little bit of both. So I'm using that all over the lid and then just blending that out. Because this look is going to be all about the eyeliner and the pop in the lip, we want to keep the eyes pretty subtle. I'm using the Maybelline Master Graphic by Eye Studio for my eyeliner, and it's a felt tip. It has a pretty thick applicator, so for those of you that don't like the very thin pencil kind of application, this is just a good alternative. It makes it just a little bit easier to apply. But of course, no matter how good you are in makeup, you'll always make a mistake. I realized that one of my wings just looked completely off compared to the other. So I just took my BH Cosmetics makeup remover and I just took just a very pointed tip of a Q-tip and just fixed that. And then I went over in a NYX felt tip eyeliner just to perfect the lines a little bit more, make the ends a little sharper, and then I just fixed up my foundation with the Beauty Blender. Just to line my upper waterline and make it look a little bit thicker, I decided to go in with the NYX retractable eyeliner in black. And that's just to make my eyelashes look a little bit thicker, just to make that line look full. And then I went in with the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. This is one of my favorite mascaras. It's, I guess, on the higher end. It's like $23, but It's really great. The wand is super fat. So I'm going in with Latte from Makeup Geek again, and I'm just using that color just to smoke out the under eye a little bit. I usually make the mistake of putting this on before my under eye concealer, which it's fine, but I actually prefer to use it after. I'm using this Maybelline Dark Circle Eraser Concealer, and that was a G20 brush from Morphe that I used for the under eye shadow. And then I'm just blending out my concealer just in a triangle motion and upward towards my hairline. Then from the Shade and Light palette from Kat Von D, I'm taking Levitation and I'm putting that underneath my eyes just to set my under eye concealer. And this is pretty light, but the actual shade is not too light itself. It's pretty neutral and it goes well with my skin tone. And then I'm using the concealer just to highlight the bridge of my nose, the very tip, the cupid's bow, and my chin. And then I'm just blending that out just to bring a little attention to those areas. Once again, I don't really use it on my forehead because my forehead is enormous and I prefer not to make it bigger. Then I'm taking a little bit of shadow play and I'm just contouring my nose. You guys saw this in my last video. I just like to contour my nose a little bit, just bring it in, just because I find that it's a little bit wide. So I usually just apply that and then blend it out a little bit with the Beauty Blender. Once again, because we want to make this a very neutral kind of look, other than the eyes and the lips, we're not doing too much with the cheeks. I'm just taking this Real Techniques blush brush and applying Birthday Suit from ColourPop. It's a really natural color. It's nothing too crazy. It just kind of gives the lips just a little bit of a flush, and so I'm just choosing to use that. Then I took a little bit of the Shadow Play from the Kat Von D palette, and this is just a BH Cosmetics fluffy brush. And I'm just using that just to warm up the face a little bit. I'm not contouring, I'm not doing anything too drastic. I don't want to take any of the attention away from the eyes or the lips. And so I'm just sweeping that across my forehead, my temple area, my cheeks, my jawline, underneath my chin, and places like that. So then I'm taking the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara again and just coating my bottom lashes. Nothing too drastic, just giving them a nice little coat. Then to keep it a little glam, I'm going in with the Becca and Jaclyn Hill collab, the highlighter Champagne Pop. And I'm just dusting that over my cheeks, along my cheekbone. I'm not going too close to my nose. I'm just keeping it on the high points of my cheeks. And I don't want anything that was going to apply it too harshly, I guess. I just wanted something that was just a light dust, just to keep it nice and natural. So I just use that fan brush just to apply that softly. I couldn't find my NYX lip primer, so I just decided to use this Maybelline Baby Lips lip balm, and I just lightly put just a thin coat over just to keep my lips hydrated underneath my lipstick. And then I'm going in with Ruby Woo lip liner by MAC, and I'm just applying that to my lips, and I'm just being very precise with it. The shape of my lips is a little funny towards the outer corners. The lining of my lips just kind of disappears and it just kind of fades out, so I kind of have to, like, I don't know, create it a little bit. So I have to be careful with like dark colors or anything bright, Just gotta be super precise. And then I'm going in with Ruby Woo and by MAC, and it's just a matte lipstick. It's just their classic red. It's one of their best sellers, and I think it's beautiful. So then I'm going in with this Urban Decay setting spray, the all-nighter, and just applying that to my whole face. And then I realized that the outside corners of my eyes just needed a little bit more dimension. They were just looking a little plain, and so I just wanted the eyes to look not smoky but just a little more defined, since they are part of the look. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you like the way that it came out. If you did, please like this video, leave a comment, just interact with me. I love talking to you guys. And yeah, if you enjoyed it, just like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye guys. When it's true love. Hello.
What's up? What the fuck do you want? I ain't giving you none of this shit. He loves to be, like, mad overprotective.
Like of you?
Yeah.
Fine. And I'm like, let's be friends.
We are not friends.
Stop.
I could picture him saying, oh my god, they're orgasmic. And the day before that, he was like, oh, you my bitch. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I noticed you smell like bacalao and we had chicken for dinner. That's none of my business.
That's disgusting.
Well, you look like you put lashes on. Because I feel like maybe within the last 10 years, people have gotten so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Okay.
See you later.